The day before Thanksgiving, we went to my Nana's house, my dad's mom's house. And, you know, I'm not gonna get too sad, but I will say that it was difficult in one way particular because it was the first time Papa wasn't there, you know, having passed away months ago, and with my Uncle Dan also passing away right before that, which I've talked about on the show. So it's like there was this anticipation of, okay, there's gonna be some empty seats, so to speak. Now there was never a plan to leave seats empty. But actually, what had happened was, after our concert, I've told you this, right? We went to, at our concert at the North Carolina State Fair, my mom and Lewis rode there with my dad and Nancy.
So this is your parents and their new partners hanging out together.
Yeah, and Nana all rode in Dad's truck up there because they were concerned about parking.
But it has been 30 years or more than that since your parents were to a couple. So it's
oh yeah,
we've had a lot of time for the awkwardness to settle a little bit.
Well,
but it's still unusual.
They have never ridden in the same car anywhere.
Right.
And so when Dad and Nancy offered to take them, I was like, okay, I'll let them know. And then like they did it and it went great. And then come to find out on the ride there or the ride back, they're talking about Thanksgiving plans and how we're coming into town for Thanksgiving, not Christmas time. And they're like, you know what? Dad and Nancy were like, Sue, you and Lewis should come to our Thanksgiving. And I'm hearing about this and I'm like, after they had decided, they were we were invited. I was like, sounds weird, but
awesome.
Great, okay.
We make the rules.
So, but hold on. For the first time ever, my mom came to my dad's side of to like a big family event on my dad's side of the family.
But I will say, because
even birthday parties growing up, I mean, they were all separate. I'd have twice as many birthday parties, twice as many Christmases.
But what I'm getting at is, you know, this is, you know, super common in modern society for families to split up and there'd be two entities, and then the children have to kind of make choices and go from place to place.
Right.
It is pretty novel concept if you can all get along. I mean,
get together.
It sounds like a movie, which it probably is.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, we'd always go to Nanny's house, my mom's mom. My dad's side of the family had nothing to do with it because Christmas night was Nana's night for my dad's side of the family. My mom had nothing to do with that. I was the only one that would do both, and it was great because I got, you know, you end up getting a lot more presents, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But now I don't really get much presents, and this is Thanksgiving, so presents are out of the equation.
Oh, your family doesn't do Thanksgiving presents, huh?
No, they don't. We're not even thankful.
Oh.
Just kidding. So
we don't even do thankful.
It was this interesting dynamic, and there's like, I think there were, what was the number? It ended up being like 16 people there. So it wasn't like an awkwardly small group of people sitting around a small table. It was still we're putting a bunch of tables together. It turned out to be, you know, there were still moments of it being very sad, you know, it's like really missing these key members of our family for the first time. So it in no way erases that, but it created something new. I mean, my cousin Kurt and they had a newborn, you know, 3 months old. First time we met the baby. It was like, so there's all this excitement that like gives something to celebrate, you know, which was very much needed. And then it's like, and then I look down at that end of the table and it's like, my mom's sitting there. It's like so weird, but like, this is great. I mean, I think everybody's having a good time. And you know, everybody did have a good time. It all worked out. And at one point, you know, I've talked about Lewis, my stepdad, who I'll never call my stepdad because that's just weird because they got married way after I got married. But I'm like, his catchphrase, good, good, good. Talked about that, right?
Yes.
We talked about we built it up with the kids. We're like, all right, Papa Lewis is gonna be at the Thanksgiving dinner tonight. And they're like, tonight at Nana's? I'm like, yes. So
let's do a drinking game, kids.
Be on
every time he says, good, good, good. You take a shot of gravy.
That's a good idea. And yeah, I'm like, so you gotta listen for it. And then lo and behold, the kids get up from the table after, like we're all sitting there at the table after the food, after everybody's eaten. Some people start getting up, they're doing stuff, but most of the people are still at the table. And then Lewis is like, oh boy, that was good. My ears perk up. And I look across the table at Christy.
He's
and
like pulling a cord.
Christy's eyes met mine, and he was like, oh gosh, that was good. Good, good, good. I was like, yes! And then Christy and I looked at each other and that was like the best moment of Thanksgiving. And then I look around for the kids and they're not at the table.
Oh, they didn't even witness it.
I think Lily was at the table and she didn't hear it somehow. And that was the only good, good, good of the whole.
You're kidding.
That's the only one he did.
And he gave you like a warning shot.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody could have gathered around during that pause.
I got it. I just wanted the kids to get it. I mean, the next day, which was Thanksgiving Day, we're at Nanny's house. So my mom's side of the family. My dad and Nancy weren't invited to that. I don't know, it didn't go both ways. I don't know what happened.
Interesting.
And we're there and Lewis didn't give a good, good, good there. It was good, good, good.
Did he have a bad, bad, bad Thanksgiving?
Well, after, it was great. Thanksgiving was great there. It was like Nanny and her siblings. Uncle Jimmy was there. Never seen Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah.
He was there. He's hard to understand. I love the way he talks. It's just, I'm just saying.
It needs to be subtitled.
Yeah, it needs to be, he's like.
He needs to have his own subtitle around his neck.
You need to have a relative.
He needs to have an iPad that he wears. That subtitles
I'm not gonna do an impersonation because I think that would be cruel, but it's, I love him for it. It's just, that's the thing about getting together with your family is just, yeah, I'm in more observation mode. You know, it's not like we're getting into deep conversations or anything. We're just sitting around. Nanny gets so cold that she literally, it was like 85 degrees.
Tropical.
And so like after we've eaten and it's 85 degrees and you're sitting shoulder to shoulder in this like carpeted living room with like the kerosene heater on, like everybody just started wilting, man. And then a couple of family members would have to go outside to smoke and then they'd come back in and like me and Christy are really sensitive to the smell of smoke and like we got headaches from just the residual smell on the clothes and we started to really have a difficult time. So I was like, well, Mom and Lewis had to go to Lewis's family's thing and then we were gonna stay like 2 more hours. I'm like, after another hour and the dog show's over and stuff, I'm like.
The dog show?
We were wilting, we had to like get out of there. So I'm like, well, and we had seen Nanny another day before, so we got some good quality time in and then I was like, we said our goodbyes and headed out. And then we get out to the car and Christy's like, well, we can't go back to Brittany's because they're not there. They're at JB's family's house and we don't have a key. So that we don't have somewhere to be for like 2.5 hours. I'm like, well, I really need a coffee. And it's Thanksgiving Day and we're driving around to McDonald's and then I get to McDonald's, I'm like, yes. And then the daggone McDonald's is closed.
Oh, because you're in.
And I look across, I'm in Anger, and then I look across the street and they got like a gas station. I can't get gas station coffee. So then we drive to Fuquay. I'm like, there's a McDonald's in Fuquay, there's a Starbucks in Fuquay. I go to both of those. They're both closed. I'm getting desperate. I go to the Dunkin' Donuts, closed. I'm starting to feel like a real loser now. Yep. I'm driving my family around on Thanksgiving Day, just fiending for coffee and getting turned away like Les Mis.
Well, okay, that's a little, okay.
I don't remember the story of Les Mis. I didn't watch the movie.
You know, it's exactly like that.
Chrissy's like, there's a Sheetz. I'm like, gas station coffee?
Oh, Sheetz.
We go to Sheetz.
Sheetz is not a gas station.
Well, you know what? You know what? I have never been in a Sheetz. I've never been inside of one.
What?
I've heard about them.
You can order food from the gas pump.
You can order lattes from a screen inside, which I did.
Of course you did.
And that explains why on Christmas Day, me and my immediate family were playing cards for an hour and a half in a Sheetz gas station because we had no where to be.
That's why I got a group text of what you were you playing cards in a gas station on Thanksgiving.
And you know, I felt kind of defeated. I'm like, is this a father fail? Does this answer the question at the top of the show that like it's better to not be with family on Thanksgiving because here I am choosing to play cards just with my kids and my wife in a Sheetz gas station?
I mean.
And then Christy's like, you know what? This could be a tradition.
Oh gosh.
And it's a magical phrase. No matter what happens, if it's bad, try this. Next time you're in like a weird, defeated, or odd holiday situation, just don't even think about it. Just say it out loud. Speak it into the ether. This could be a tradition. Everything changed at that moment. Like, I got a tingle up my spine. I'm like, you know what?
A Sheetz tingle.
I got a Sheetz tingle. I'm like, yeah, we can, even if we're not here for Thanksgiving, we can fly all the way here to go to this Sheetz. And it's like, no, we didn't mean that, but it changed the perspective on the whole thing.
Well, a sponsorship from Sheetz would definitely change.
Okay, yeah, work it.
Change it.
Change it. So that was my Thanksgiving. And by the way, then I left there and we met Britton and his family at a Waffle House. So I went from a Sheetz and then spent the next 2.5 hours at a Waffle House on Thanksgiving night.
That's an upgrade. Both places are great, but Waffle House, that's prime.
We walked in the Waffle House and the manager looked at us and he said, out loud, basically at the top of his voice, he said, "What the hell?" And I thought it was like, yeah, Thanksgiving night, I know, we're here at a Waffle House. Of course, so are you, manager. It's great that you're here so that I can be here. And then it turned out at the end he was a fan. But he didn't tell me that until
that was his reaction.
2.5 hours later. So yeah, gas station and a Waffle House on Thanksgiving night. It can be a tradition. To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch the previous episode of Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist to the left.
And don't forget to click on the circular icon to subscribe.
If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for being your mythical best.